Hello everyone, my name is Void Doctor and welcome back to another episode on the InfinityCraft server. And today we're starting at this episode on my starter house that I constructed last episode, which was episode 1. If you really want to, go check that episode out. It kind of fills in a lot of plot holes, I guess you could say, in the progress that I've made. However, I've made a slight bit of off-camera progress, not a lot in the slightest. That doesn't sound right. Anyway, I got a new diamond pick because my old one, as you all saw last episode, almost broke at the end of the episode. However, Too Much Mustard came to the rescue. He just randomly gave me 5 diamonds without even asking, which is ridiculously generous in the early game. So, yeah, I have a brand new diamond pick, which is very nice to have an unbroken diamond pick. And I have an extra diamond, and I think we can use that. Do I have an? Yes, I do. And I think we can use that extra diamond to just craft ourselves up a nice diamond shovel, because I know I'll be mining quite a bit of sand because we're in a desert. Not because I actually have like a use for all this sand, but because sand is the main thing that we'll be mining, because like terraforming and stuff. So yeah, it's nice to have a diamond shovel when you're living in a desert. However, what I'd like to work on in today's episode is, it's something that not a lot of people tend to work on in episode 2 of their SMP, especially a pretty slow-paced SMP. We don't work at a super fast-paced all the time. I mean, sometimes we do, but most of the time we don't work at a super fast-paced. So it feels a little bit weird to be saying this, although this is kind of how it's been for most InfinityCraft seasons. I'd like to work on a storage hall. However, the difference between this storage hall and my previous storage halls is this one's gonna be really, really big, but gonna have the same or less capacity as the one from last season, because I realized that I only used about half of the capacity of last season's storage hall, and it was absolutely tiny. It wasn't the smallest. The season 1 storage hall was obviously the smallest, but it wasn't grand. It didn't have a lot of prominence, even if it had a lot of just size, like just mathematical size, like just physical size, right? It didn't have a lot of impressive like factor to it, you know? It wasn't very impressive. This season, that's all gonna change. I want to make this season's storage hall feel like a palace compared to that, and that's actually kind of what I want it to look like, is some sort of desert looking palace with, yeah, I have this whole design, but what that's going to require is stripped birch, because as I mentioned last episode, stripped birch works really well with sandstone and it just looks really nice, but that's also going to require some copper blocks. Now, I'm not sure if I have a ton of copper. No, I don't. Okay, no, I actually do have quite a bit of copper. I should probably get this smelting, to be honest. So, yeah, I have quite a bit of copper, but I'll probably need more. Thankfully, that's going to be the easy bit, actually. Getting the copper should be fairly easy, considering we're in the 1.18 update, and copper kind of spawns everywhere. I'm out of coal in these furnaces. However, the more difficult part is going to be the stripped birch, because I have not found a stripped birch forest a birch forest anywhere. And keep in mind, to get here I traveled like 700 blocks, which in Minecraft isn't a lot, but that's still a considerable amount. So yeah, not too hopeful that there's a birch forest anywhere. Stripped wood does not grow on trees, regular logs do. So I think the first thing I want to do in this episode is just head out in search of a birch forest. Now, I don't plan on chopping down the whole forest. I kind of just want to bring some birch saplings back, and for some reason that server save the game message is back now. But yeah, I kind of want to just bring some saplings back to the base and begin kind of growing them and then chopping them down here. This build shouldn't require a ton, maybe, I don't know, 2 or 3 stacks of saplings because I really only want to use them at the bottom of the build as sort of like a foundation material. But yeah, it's always nice to have quite a considerable amount of any material I know I'm going to be building with in most builds. I'll probably even replace the walls, or at least like the foundation walls on this build, with some stripped birch. So yeah, I'm probably going to farm a few stacks of that, but first we need to find the forest. Okay, so I was just walking out past that village over there, our main village where my starter house is way past that, over in that direction, but I stumbled upon this ravine, and it goes, like, all the way down to Deep Slate. So, when the time comes to mine copper for this build, I think I know where I'm gonna go. Okay, so maybe I'm not very smart when it comes to Minecraft. I found a forest, but I didn't see any birch trees, and I didn't really bother to explore it. This was a while back. This was maybe 15 minutes ago. And I just found a forest with birch trees in it. And I probably could have gone to the other forest and got birch trees way earlier. And it would have been really, really cool. And now I'm very embarrassed that I didn't even bother to explore it because I didn't remember that forests spawn with birch trees. So, yeah. Gonna chop down some birch trees here and be very sad because I don't know how to play this game. Okay, so I've collected some saplings and some logs because obviously logs are a side effect of collecting saplings, and now I'm just heading back to the base. It's at roughly 150 negative 720, I believe, or maybe negative 150 negative 720. It's roughly around there, and I will probably have to sleep the night. This is precisely why I brought a bed with me. Although I do have to say, not having an elytra does have one perk. I can use the final inventory slot, or my final hotbar slot, for storing things rather than just using it for rockets. Alright, so I see a shipwreck over there, and I do love myself some diamonds, so I'm gonna go check out if I can find the buried treasure there. I know this is just getting sidetracked, but like, I want buried treasure. Also, I broke my axe, which means boats not gonna be fun. I don't want to use any of the birch logs because I am gonna need all of them. Okay, so someone was already here, which explains the floating logs everywhere. Alright, so I found another ship, and this one did have a treasure map in it. So I'm gonna go explore this and see if I can get myself some diamonds. Alright, so I used the 9 chunk Okay. This is very, very, very good. Yeah, this is precisely what I was looking for. A little boost in diamonds. Heart of the Sea, so if I get some Nautilus shells, that's a conduit. I don't exactly know what I do with the conduit. But there's also jungle trees here. I'm not going to harvest any jungle trees because I know I won't be using them for anything. But it's just cool to know that there's jungle wood out here. It's always nice to know that kind of stuff. Alright, so I'm going to get some of these birch saplings laid out here. Just on the ground. And then we'll move on to Amethyst Mining. This should be very fun because of that ravine that I found. That is exciting. I also need to get some of these valuables put away that I got from that shipwreck. Okay, and because I don't like dying, I'm just going to use a water bucket to get down. Oh my gosh, I am so stupid. Water buckets are like the safest way to get down, but I almost died because, like, I went faster than the water. That's impressive. Now that is truly an impressive feat right there, going faster than water. Anyhow, I don't really feel like providing commentary for mining unless I see something truly magnificent. So yeah, I'm pretty much just going to do all this off camera because, oh boy, as I mentioned last episode, mining can be real interesting to provide commentary for. I'm just kidding, it's impossible to commentate mining. Okay, so maybe this is slightly noteworthy. This cave is so large. It takes up my full 19 chunk render distance, which is ridiculous. That's 19 chunks away. Now, to be fair, the server does cap at 16 chunks, so it's a 16 chunk render distance. That's ridiculous. That's insane. This cave is absolutely massive. Oh, and there's diamonds right here. Should have probably mentioned that. So, yeah, very exciting. Starting to wish I'd made a cave base, but like, the desert base is gonna be cooler. Like, let's be honest. Nobody wants to live underground. You just live in the desert. The desert's cool. Well, like, not actually. It's like pretty hot, but whatever. Yo, let's go. I found a geode in the cave. This is the best cave ever. It's probably because it's like the size of a biome. Also, I just realized one of the makes me poop my pants noises is playing right now. Okay, so I've gotten all the raw copper put away. And I've also gotten some nice... Actually, no, I lied. I didn't get all of it put away. But I've also gotten some nice side benefits from this mining trip, including 6 diamonds, a block of raw iron, which I will obviously turn into regular raw iron, and some coal. Not a lot of coal, but just nice to have because we're going to be smelting a ridiculous quantity of copper. So, the next thing I'm obviously going to need to do, though, is mine... That was terrifying. Is obviously mine some coal, because this definitely is not enough coal. So, gonna go do that, and then we'll begin smelting up all the copper. Because, trust me, this might not even be enough copper, to be honest. This is only like a stack and a half of copper blocks. Okay, so I've gotten some coal, and now I'm just gonna stock up these furnaces with this coal, and smelt up all the copper. Okay, so I've gotten all the copper finished smelting, and I've gotten all my valuables, just all my ores and stuff put away into this chest, or all my refined ores. I keep all my... Oh, okay, there are my unrefined ores. I was like, huh? Where did they go? No, there they are. But, yeah, so I've gotten all the copper smelted up. Now I need to turn it into copper blocks. And hopefully, as we build the sort of foundation layer of this building, they should start to age. I'm pretty sure it's like you want them 4 blocks away from other blocks of copper. We'll see how this works. So, copper blocks. And, yeah, they're right there. There we go. Got a few extra ingots. So this is quite a bit of copper. Might not be enough. It would be really frustrating if we have to mine more copper. Also, really hard to find more copper around here now, because I've definitely done quite a bit of copper mining. However, I'm just going to lay this copper out, get it aging, and we'll start the build. I also need to find a sizable plot of land for this build, because I want it to not be obstructed by anything. So probably right here is a really good spot, but probably going to have to like fill in this area right here. So, yep, got quite a bit to do before we get started on the build. Just like last season, it's going to be quite a difficult build, but this season, I'm completely unenchanted as well. So, that makes it even more difficult. I actually just realized 2 more levels and I'll be able to be enchanted, so at level 30, so probably going to be able to get level 30 enchantments by the end of the episode. Okay, so I've gotten the copper in this grid, and I don't really have a reason to be recording this clip other than it looks so cool. So I already have a bunch of, what is it, oxidized copper, so it's been fully oxidized now. And I just kind of redid the grid so that it was more compact and I could harvest the oxidized copper. And may I just say, this is one of my favorite gradients I've ever seen. This looks so cool. And another benefit of using fully exposed copper, or fully oxidized copper, is that I'm not going to need to wax it, which is very nice because I don't want to have to wax the copper. So, yeah, I'm not going to have to wax it, which is, again, I prefer the oxidized texture anyway, and it's very convenient to not have to gather honeycomb. Okay, so I've just finished sort of leveling out this area right here. This used to be 1 block lower, so there was like this weird patch right here. So I've just finished leveling it out, and I think this area should be pretty cool for building the storage hall. And obviously, if I need more space for anything, because again, this is going to be a very large build, I can always just extend the sand out a bit here, since we do have quite a bit of room on this flat space here. So if I do need to make this area slightly larger, I can. I eventually want to fill that in. Not right now, though. The first thing I'd like to do is just kind of get working on the actual circle, because yes, the main storage part of this building is going to be a circle. So yeah, let's see how this looks. And shout out to the plots modeler for helping me make this circle. You can find them at plots.co.uk, not sponsored. And yes, while I am building this, there is still copper oxidizing, but I think it should be fine. Yeah, so this is just a rough outline. Of course, I will make this room taller, probably 5 or 6 blocks tall. It's a lot of blocks. Just this circle itself is 64 blocks tall. So, or 64 blocks in total. Like, it takes 64 blocks to make this circle. And with these extra little bits here, it takes even more materials. But I know what you're thinking. This looks extremely futuristic right now. But my idea is we go up maybe a second floor. Maybe we'll go down. I don't know if I want to do a second floor yet. Because if we don't do a second floor and we go down, then I feel like it will look a lot cooler, because we could just kind of make this, we could make these only like 5 blocks tall, but make this main room here crazy tall, like 15, 16 blocks tall. And we could do that either way. I mean, we could make this main building, say, 15 or 16 blocks tall, but it would just look a lot more grand on the inside if we didn't put a second floor in, and we just kind of kept these little wing bits here short. My idea for like these little wing bits here, I kind of just want them to be decorative, because again, this whole area, like I was saying before, it looks very futuristic, but I want to add these decorations here, and like, I don't know, like I don't even know what to call these, but this like pattern here. And then I also want to add leaves, azalea leaves around here, and it should kind of make it feel a lot less rigid, like a rigid structure, and it should make it feel a lot more, I don't know, it should make it feel a lot more textured and less bland, even though this already isn't ridiculously bland. I mean, if we just kind of build up this section of wall here, it's not super bland already, because it's got like these blocks really do provide a lot of texture for this. However, yes, I do think right now, without any sort of texture blocks, any sort of detail, it does look kind of bland. So adding some leaves for a little bit of color and some red sandstone slabs wouldn't be too bad of an idea. So I think I might do a couple layers of that like pattern around here. I might even just not even do the pattern. I might just do like a trim, maybe even just full red sandstone blocks. And yeah, I just think that it breaks up the building quite nicely, because again, even my starter base, I'm going to replace some of the bottom blocks with this, because it does just break up the walls very nicely. So I'm going to get working a little bit more on this, and then I'll come back with a progress update. Oh, and did I forget to mention what we're using the copper for? I don't even remember if I mentioned this, but we're going to use the copper for a giant dome on top. That's kind of my idea for this. It's going to be extremely expensive, but it should look really cool. I don't know if we're going to set the dome in. I mean, maybe we can like kind of bring this in a bit with its own sort of dome, and then bring in the copper, so I don't have to spend a lot of blocks on this. So yeah, that might be kind of cool. Yeah, I just looked up the required blocks for a dome of this size. 1,082 blocks of copper. Divide that by 64. Let me do the math really quick. That's 16 stacks of copper blocks. I don't think we're going to be doing a copper dome, a giant copper dome, on episode 2. I don't think that's feasible at all. I'm going to have to come up with a different idea for some kind of cool decoration for the top of this build, because the copper dome idea was extremely expensive. Although I do have an idea. I can add some copper accents and some copper trim around this whole thing, which should look really cool. Never mind, that wasn't for the whole dome. That wasn't for the whole dome. That was for the whole sphere. So it would actually be around half of that, so around 8 stacks. But I still don't have 8 stacks of copper. So maybe we can do a dome with like a copper top to it. I don't know how that would look, but maybe we can try that out. And I just had a breakthrough realization. I don't actually have to use azalea leaves everywhere. I'll probably still use them for the most part at least, on this. But we can also use birch leaves, because they do retain their nice green color. I don't think it's as vibrant or as appealing as azaleas, but we can kind of mix them in and look nice. However, I think I'm going to go get some real life sleep before I continue working on this, because that is something that I'm currently requiring. Okay, so I was about to record a clip saying that I thought this whole like palace area was coming along quite nicely, and then I realized I made a massive mathematical error. This area is way too large. That's 8 blocks. I think I might have not intended to make these 5 blocks, or I intended to make them 5 blocks, but I think I made them 7. But then I made a mistake and might have made them 8. This one is 9. So these areas are way too big, these 2 sides. So I have to completely deconstruct this entire thing along with these 2 like little decorations here and all the copper blocks. This is going to take me ages, so let me do this and I'll get back with a progress update once I completely reconstruct this with the right numbers. I'm also starting to wish I'd gathered some bamboo from that jungle because I definitely could have used that in scaffolding. The problem of food production is something that has plagued many a nation that has been situated in the desert, and I am not trying to become one of them, so I am going to set up this small crop field here in an effort to produce food. Also, my shovel has broken, so I probably need to get one of those to get some dirt. Don't you love it when the nearest source of dirt is like 500 blocks away? Okay, this should sustain me a lot better now that I can actually produce a reasonable amount of food. And I believe that is now death 7. Just lost 31 levels. Also means the texturing, in my opinion, looks slightly more natural. Okay, so I'm really happy with how this is looking now. I just kind of fixed up the sides a little bit, even though they never really needed fixing, and I just think this place looks cool. I might fix these little end bits here because they do look kind of weird, these little end pieces here. And the next thing I want to do is work on the roof. I have no idea what I'm going to do for the roof. I think I'm going to experiment in a creative test world. Just see what I can do. And I'll get back with a progress update once I find an interesting design for a roof for this. Okay, so after looking at quite a ton of artwork online, just of like, fantasy sort of desert palaces and things, I think I've come up with a pretty cool design. So essentially what I want to do is these first sort of like set of crenellations, they're just going to kind of lead directly into another like step inward, and then like the bottom block of that will probably be made out of copper, just for more copper accents. And then we can have stairs and another like step inward and more like copper accents, and it will get smaller and smaller. I don't think we're going to go straight up to like a 1 block point, but I think we can have sort of like I think we can sort of have it taper upward, kind of maybe finishing off with a set of crenellations at some point. Maybe the 3rd layer sort of ends with a set of crenellations. And I don't want it to become a super tall building, but I think this should just kind of nicely round off the build, Maybe we can add some sort of smaller dome at the top to sort of, again, sort of round off the top of the build. I am so stupid. I could have been buying bread from one of these villagers that I locked in a house last episode. Not yesterday, last episode. The whole time. That crop farm, obviously, still looks cool. But I could have been buying bread, which is so much more efficient. I gotta do that. Okay. Please tell me one of you is a farmer, and I have to re-roll their trades until they sell me bread. Okay, this may take a while. Yes! Food. Yes! Oh, that's also a lot of XP. Thanks. That was awesome. I now have food for a while. Not a super long while, but like, I have quite a bit of food now. This is very cool. The more I look at this build, the cooler it looks. Do I have recording space, or is my recording software very mad at me right now? So I realized I had very little copper blocks left, so I wasn't even able to complete this first ring here. So I'm just smelting up some more copper, and then I will have to wait for it to age. Fun times. I will probably go AFK, do something else, come back, and I'll probably just go AFK, do something else in real life, come back, and it'll be done aging at that point. Hopefully, because it's like really boring waiting for this stuff to age. Like extremely boring. So yeah, I hope it's pretty quick. Probably won't be though, unfortunately. This is a little bit lucky. I just finished crafting up the rest of the copper blocks, and there was exactly 2 stacks, which I don't know why, but it's just like really cool. Man, I don't know why, but this is kind of mesmerizing, these massive fields of copper around here. It just looks so cool. Although what isn't very cool is waiting for them to age, which takes ages, as it were. Hey look, it's the David Copper field. Just finishing up detailing the outside of the roof of the storage hall, and man, we gotta find a way to light up this place. It is very dark in here. It's turning into a mob farm. I just got a potato from killing a husk, so yeah, now I'm growing potatoes, which are much better than wheat, because baked potatoes are better than bread. Mainly because you don't have to buy it from villagers. And growing bread is extremely difficult, or growing wheat to make bread is extremely difficult because it's a lot more expensive than baked potatoes. Okay, so I got some torches put up in here, but as always, they're not doing anything because this is a massive room. This room is going to be insane. However, once we get a ceiling in here, kind of like I have in here, we can maybe put some like beams going across in the form of like stripped oak or something, and that may make it look slightly less large, and it will also make it so we can put lanterns up, which will make it feel a lot brighter in there, even though I believe there's no 0 light spots in here. Maybe there are, maybe there aren't. I don't remember. Okay, so I am super happy with the exterior of this build, and I know I said I didn't want to do a copper dome for the roof, and I didn't. I did a sort of hybrid dome with copper accents, and I don't know if I'm completely satisfied with it. I might eventually make it a little bit less flat on top, but right now I'm just running very low on just blocks in general. As you can see, I had to disassemble this entire grid here, or a lot of the grid, because I just needed more oxidized copper and I didn't want to reconstruct it. And yeah, so I might eventually make another layer of slabs on the roof, because I kind of want to make it so it's like, you know, like flatten it out, make it like kind of taper, or not taper, sort of fall off, like the slope of it. Anyway, the next thing we obviously have to work on in the storage hall is the storage part of it. And I want to kind of do it the same as last season. So we're going to have bulk storage on the bottom, all the things that I want quick access to. And then on the top floor is all the things that I'm still going to need quick access to, but I don't have storage space on the bottom floor, because I realized last season, even the top floor, which isn't bulk storage, is still things that I access quite a bit. It's just like they're things that can't be stored in bulk unless I have until I have a much larger storage system, which this is not. This is not a gigantic building. It looks massive, but it isn't humongous. And yeah, I also realized that a little bit of the way through that without any sort of leaves on it, because of course eventually once I get the time to and the resources to do, I will get some azalea leaves on here. But right now it looks very futuristic. That's what leaves do, is when you put them on a build, it immediately takes it back in time. If you put some leaves draping down from the roof of a building and from the sides, it immediately takes it back in time. And that's kind of what I want to do. I mean, I know it doesn't make sense to have leaves on this building, but you have to think about it this way. These people probably are much wealthier. Obviously, the people living here are obviously quite a bit wealthier, so they probably have the resources and the money to irrigate all these leaves, considering that they live in a very large town. So it might make sense that there are leaves here, and it might be like a symbol of wealth to have leaves on your house. So maybe having the leaves sort of sort of drooping down from the roof of the building is sort of a symbol of wealth, kind of dune style. Like the more water you have, the wealthier you are. That kind of, I don't know, that kind of seems cool to me, especially in a very dry desert environment. The more I think about this build, the more I realize it's just a massive flex on everyone on the server. It's so much copper. I think it's somewhere around 3.5 stacks of copper on episode 2. What are we gonna have on episode 10? What, like 25 stacks of copper blocks? That seems reasonable. That seems within reach at this point. I mean, based on my luck with caves, I mean, unless too much mustard goes caving around here, since he does have a cave base, his starter base is a cave base just over that way. Although, since he might start streaming, I don't want to spoil it for you all. Once he starts streaming, go check out his stream. It's, like, gonna be really cool. We just gotta, like, wait for him. I kind of gotta help him set up his stream, because I used to stream. Like, I don't think I've ever once mentioned that, but yeah, I used to stream, and it was really bad. I'm not saying streaming is bad, I'm saying my streams were bad. My streams were god-awful. So, small update. I've been farming wood for a while, and at this point, I'm getting so tired of it that I'm just gonna go find a forest, or maybe even just a savanna, and chop down some trees, because I've only gotten, like, a fifth of the chests in the storage hall that I'd like to have by the end of the episode. I mean, obviously I'm going to have to add more, but I've only gotten like a fifth of them in, and this episode is taking way too long to make. Like, it's already been, what, it's been like 3 days? It's currently the end of day 3. It's like 10:30 at night, or no, it's like 9:30 at night, and I'd like to go to bed, but I like to finish the storage hall before I can go to bed. So yeah, definitely having a little bit of regret in trying to build this storage hall as fast as possible and on episode 2 before I even have enchantment, because it means farming everything, gathering everything just takes forever. I also am a little bit concerned about the length of this episode because it's already proving to be quite long. Oh, okay, this is exactly where I wanted to be, a savanna. Woohoo! Okay, folks, so I am really happy with how this storage hall has come together. Obviously, it is not complete, but as I am now using an iron axe from mining so many trees, I would not like to go mining for diamonds to get a new diamond axe, so I think we're pretty much going to wrap up the episode here. But yeah, I just think, especially with the addition of the leaves on this whole place, because my idea for this town, right, is the reason it was settled in this exact spot is because this was probably some sort of oasis. So eventually I want to make this place feel like an actual oasis, but right now, yeah, they kind of settled this place because it was some sort of oasis, and it's got a lot of water, it's right on the ocean, so that's why we're able to have green leaves on this place, whereas the rest of the desert is a lot of just barren, dry land with a few cacti. But yeah, I feel like this whole storage hall has really come together quite nicely, and the interior should look really cool by the time next episode starts. It will probably take me a while to fully get this place sorted out. Like, I forgot to put a whole ceiling on this. Let's see if I can. Alright, yeah. But yeah, there's a few things that I have to sort out, namely the interior chests, moving all of the different workstations and things, just fixing these pillars, stuff like that. But other than that, yeah, I think the whole exterior of this build is just a really, I don't know, it looks really clean, but it also looks really old and sort of, you know, it's like, I don't know, it just feels like an old structure, which is cool, but it doesn't feel like something from the future. It feels like something from the past, but it does have some sort of futuristic vibe to it from the colors, which I think is cool. So yeah, very happy with this episode. Not the episode, I mean, I am happy with the episode, but I'm also happy with the storage hall. However, I think this is where we are going to wrap up today's episode. So, as always, my name has been Void Doctor. Please like, subscribe, and share if you did enjoy the episode, and I'll see you all next time. Take care, bye for now.